Hey guys, Whitney here. Welcome to this week's edition of the Passive Investing Made Simple show. I'm your host, Whitney Elkins-Hutten, the Director of Investor Education here at PassiveInvesting.com. And I'm so excited for you to join me for today's topic. Now, I know it may seem a little disjointed from our normal topics on diving into the ins and outs of how to be a limited partner, how to vet operators, markets, and deals, asset classes, and the like. But I think today's topic is super important, especially in helping you become a much better investor. But before we dive in, if this is your first time attending the Masterclass, welcome. We do the show live every Tuesday. So you can become a better passive investor, learn the ins and outs of passive investing, and invest with confidence. Now, today's topic, it's going to be a solo show, just me, myself, and I here with you guys. And we're going to talk about how your health affects your wealth. Now, I think many of us really probably on a very high level understand that, if I'm not healthy, surely it's going to take dollars from my bottom line, maybe impact the growth of my wealth and maybe impact my future self, but also my family. But I want to kind of dive into some other areas that maybe you've not given much consideration about. Now, before we dive into that, if this is our first time meeting, my name's Whitney. This is the whole reason why I invest in real estate and in passive investments. My real estate journey kicked off in 2002 completely by accident. Many of you guys have heard the story. I bought a house with a significant other. About a month later, the relationship fell apart. I had a house and I had to, get that thing back in shape, complete the rehab. And then I sold it 11 months later. And that's when I realized that not only did I make more money in the sale of the transaction than I was in my day job that had me traveling 80 hours a week, I actually hadn't been paying for any of my housing expenses for the previous 11 months. And so that was 22 years ago, guys. And the light bulb really came on for me that the value I create in the world can really be unhitched from how much time I spend creating it. So fast forward, have scaled, a single family rental portfolio of over 30 single family rentals, have purchased the multifamily building, have done the GP partnerships, have capital raised on several, passive real estate deals. But fast forward to today, my husband and I, we have over 6,500 multifamily units in partnership, 2,200 self-storage units, and 15 car washes, and a myriad of other assets that we invest in. And all of it is in service of our results. We want to have 100% control on how we spend our time. Okay, financial freedom, I think a lot of us get into real estate for that, but financial freedom it's the resource that gives us the opportunity to pursue the other freedoms in life. The freedom of location independence, the freedom of time, the freedom of choice, the freedom to just go create the impact in the world that you desire to. And we can help you do that here at PassiveInvesting.com. We have over 1.4 billion portfolio value, assets under management right now. Our exits have been very strong, over 28.9% ARR, and we've made over $51 million in distribution to our investors. Now, today, this isn't all about PassiveInvesting.com. This is about you. Now, I don't foresee us touching on any financial, tax, or legal topics, but if we glean past that, just know whatever information that we go over today is for educational purposes only. So make sure you're consulting your team before making any sort of investment decision. Now, again, today's topic is how does your health affect your wealth? Now, for many of us, like I said, we might look at that title and think it's very rudimentary. Of course, our health affects our wealth. If we aren't maintaining our health, there's just, we're going to drain our bank account, so to speak. Well, it's a little bit more complicated than that. But let's first start off. What does health mean? So when we talk about health, really, it can be in relation to, any number one of sectors. Okay. Health is a very broad term, and it's really talking about a collective a collective view of somebody's overall general health, okay? And they can vary by culture, individual, or expert perspective. So we could be talking about physical health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, social health, intellectual health, environmental health, occupational health when it comes to your job, financial health, cultural health, or even down to sexual and reproductive health. So as you can see, when we say health, how does your health affect your wealth? It's not just about like how you are physically. There's so many other myriad of areas that we should be talking about and addressing. Now, why focus on this? Okay, as we can see from that list, okay, on the previous screen, that if we are underserved in any one of those areas, it really can affect our capacity to be productive. Okay, it could affect our healthcare costs. It could affect our insurance costs. It can affect our quality of life, our longevity. Okay, it can also affect the cost of our insurance over time. Okay, and those are in there. I put insurance costs in there twice because it's so important. It can also, impact how much we have to carry financially in an emergency fund. Somebody who's really healthy might only need to carry, their health deductible in an emergency fund. Somebody who is not healthy might have to carry, tens of thousands of dollars more in their emergency fund to cover those costs. It can affect your estate planning. So not only like what you're able to do now in life, your productivity, your work capacity, even your ability to build a business, okay, even a passive real estate rental business, it can affect how you're able to pass those assets on, right? When we talk about estate planning, it's not just whether you have a living will or a will or a trust. It's actually about, have you planned for your incapacity? Okay, we all need to do that, whether we have kids or not. And then we need to think about how we're going to pass those assets on. That's where the other tools like a will or a trust come into play. And then we have to be able to train our heirs. And if we're in poor health, it's going to, of course, we're going to be more prone to incapacity. Okay, we're going to have to, take really great care on how we pass those assets on so they stay protected from creditors and predators. And then we're going to have to think about, when do we train our heirs to take over those assets? Maybe it's earlier in life rather than later after you pass. Regardless, why is it so important that we focus on our health? Again, it comes down to your capacity. Is your cup half empty? Is it half full? Okay. And I like, when it comes to wealth, when we start connecting wealth and health together, I like focusing on Pareto's principle, that 80-20. And when you look at this previous list that we have on the screen, what are the top 20% that we can focus on that can yield 80% of the results? It's not that we shouldn't focus on all these different areas of health. It's just, if you focus on the top 20%, you tend to reap added benefit in other areas, even if you don't focus on them. So when we kind of stream down that 20%, really we land on good physical health, good emotional health, and good social health can help keep your expenses low and your fulfillment high. All right. Ooh, wrong direction, guys. So let's tackle physical health. Now, this isn't just about defining it. I want to actually leave you guys with tools from my own personal experience. I always joke around, anybody that's ever met me in person, some people will be like, how old are you? I am closer to 50, guys, than I am to any other decade, measured decade in my life. So I always joke around, I'm like, don't let the hair dye fool you. Okay. So I hope that I can impart some wisdom here for people who are listening to me. You might be in your 20s or 30s. If you're older than me, I hope to learn from you in our Q&A section as we share knowledge. But let's focus on the physical health side. Physical health refers to the well-being of your body and its systems. Okay, so maintaining good physical health is essential for energy, mobility, and overall functioning. So here are some of the areas that when we talk about physical health, that I like focusing on. Now, guys, you may not know my previous experience. I actually have a PhD in community health and nutrition. I actually came from the medical field. And so I'm not a doctor, not a medical doctor or anything like that, but, hold a certificate in traditional naturopathic medicine. I'm also a holistic health practitioner. I'm also a master personal trainer. So this is an area that's near and dear to my heart. So when we talk about physical health, number one priority, okay, if you want to be a better investor, get yourself in great physical shape, right? You're going to lower all those additional costs, right? Which is going to free up money for you to invest. But you're going to be increasing your capacity, right? So many investors I talk to, they're like, I'm so busy. I'm working, burning the candle at both ends. I'm tired. Okay. One of the things if I had the time, I would love to have like a health consultation with a lot of our investors to really dig in. Okay, are we sleeping enough? Are you prioritizing sleep? Are you getting that 7, 8, 9 hours of truly regenerative sleep every night? Are you keeping hydrated? These are things that don't cost a whole lot or anything, really, for you to focus on. All right. Are you staying hydrated? Are you getting at least 70 ounces of water a day? Are you exercising? Are you getting just gentle movement of walking around for 30 minutes a day? Okay. Energy begets energy. All right. Are you focused on building and maintaining strength? Now, this doesn't mean like becoming a massive bodybuilder or anything like that, but, keeping muscle on. Muscle, not only does it, help us like, fill out our clothes and feel better, it also gives us more energy because we are building more mitochondria, those little powerhouses of every cell in our body. We're adding more to our body. But strength over time can actually impact our immune system. So making sure that you are building and maintaining muscle, is huge. And then focus on your nutrition. If you're putting trash in your body, guess what? You're going to get trash out of your body. You're going to get low energy input. So focus on what you put into your body. Then I also, if I were coaching somebody, I would also have them manage their exposures, okay, to various contaminants, in the atmosphere, in their home, in their personal environment, even like electromagnetic, frequencies, carrying your cell phone around, computers. This is a great experiment. When I grew up, like we didn't have, cell phones attached to our bodies and computers in front of us all day long. So, certainly we, anecdotally, we can say that having all that technology around us all the time, even your Wi-Fi in your house, might be impacting your health. Some of us are going to be more sensitive to others. All right. And if you're tired, if you're low energy, if you're low capacity, guess what? It's going to be so much harder for you to, one, go create the wealth in the world that you need in order to invest, but also have that a little bit of added extra energy, the added push to go find those operators, markets, and deals and develop your strategy. All right. All right. So I always like giving tools. I don't want to just, give you guys like a list of things to focus on. And feel free to take screenshots here. But, things that I use in my life, relatively low expensive, or no cost at all. I have an Oura ring. That's what measures my sleep, my exercise, my general guidance on energy levels throughout the day. I also focus on, how much minerals, calcium, magnesium, potassium, even salt that I'm getting in my system. Okay, because pretty much every muscle in my body, even my digestive tract, is running off of minerals. I focus on exercise, even just gentle exercise like walking or minimal effective dose strength training. Okay, so you don't have to go pound out an hour or two at the gym to get massive benefits here. I love for nutrition. I love using apps like Mealime to create healthy menus that I can, not only helps me grocery shop, but also I can share with my family and they can help me do the cooking. I also have New Wave Enviro water filters on all of our drinking water in the house, also on all of the showers. To remove chlorine and other contaminants. We use air purifiers, and then you can kind of get into the more higher level things like supplements, maybe using a concierge physician to do different types of like medical testing and lab testing. So, but this is one area, right? If you haven't started anywhere, maybe consider this list and start trying to check off the different areas of physical health that can help you flourish more and give you that extra oomph so you can get to the next level of your investing. Now, again, we're focused on this 80-20. We're not going to tackle all 12 areas of of health, but just what are those top 3 things that if you just put your time and effort here, it's going to reap a ton of results. And it will have a trickle down effect into other areas of your life, your health, and your capacity to build wealth. One of those areas is emotional health. Okay, emotional health is the mental and emotional health involved in your cognitive and emotional well-being. So here, mindset. What is your mindset? How are you focused on your personal and emotional development? Okay. For me here, I'm focused on communication strategies with family and with friends. They change over time. I have an 11-year-old daughter. How I communicated with her, like when she was 2, is very different whenever she's 11 and a middle schooler. How am I managing stress? And there's different types of stress. There's eustress. Eustress is good for us. Okay. It's, kind of what makes a growing plant strong. It's the gentle breeze that, keeps you kind of stimulated and vibrant. And then there's distress, say like the loss of a family member or, a tragic event that's happened in your life that can cause distress. Those things can be tearing down to the body. How are you managing anxiety? Okay. Depression, mental health conditions. Some tools here, are, practicing mindfulness, self-compassion, okay? Making sure that you're kind of doing the things that you need to do to put your oxygen mask on first during the day. That way, if you're filling your cup up, then you can give to others. For me, like personally, I focus on my physical and personal development first thing in the morning. And then by the time I get to the breakfast table with my family, I'm ready for the day. I feel like I've already won. My cup is full. I'm ready to go. I'm full of energy and my capacity is bigger. Then, there's also, modalities like therapy, self-care, and then also partnering with a concierge physician to help you, bolster up this entire area of emotional health. All right. Then social health. Social health pertains to your interactions and relationships with others. Social connections can positively impact your mental and emotional health. So as you can see, these things start to kind of tie together. I think during COVID, we really, pretty much, or many of us, especially if you're somebody who is very outgoing, and extroverted, that where you get your energy from being out in the world and connected with people, as opposed to getting your energy from yourself and internally, we felt very cut off, like social health, kind of took a hit. Okay. But now's the time to get back on this and think about if you're married, how is your relationship? How's your relationships with your family, your close friends? How can you cultivate those relationships and grow them? Supportive social network, effective communication, and healthy boundaries. All right. I love talking with my clients, about healthy boundaries, that ability to say no or not now, in order to, stay focused on your priorities and not try to do everything at once. Here's the thing. I really feel that if you focused, if you took an internal inventory and you're just like, man, I just don't feel like I have the capacity right now. I feel like something's really off. I really wish I had higher energy, greater focus, the ability to prioritize, the ability to scale my wealth. And I just don't, what am I doing differently than other people, like Warren Buffett or Ray Dalio or some of the investing greats? What am I doing differently? I would take that internal inventory and really go back to how are you focusing on your physical, emotional, and social health in order to, again, build that capacity to become not only somebody who can build your own personal wealth, say like in your job or in your business, but also have the extra capacity to evaluate operators, markets, and deals and invest for the long term. Now in social health, I didn't go over the various tools that I use. I like using life and money meetings, with my partner, with my husband. We have family board meetings with our daughter. Now I know that sounds like really weird. Why are we having a board meeting? It's kind of tongue in cheek. It's like going paddle boarding or snowboarding with her. But there is an amazing book called The Family Board Meeting. If you have kids, I would check it out. Set regular dates with family and friends just to hang out, play games, go see a show. Make it regular, plan ahead. Live communication. I'm all about finding ways to talk to people on a phone, even on Zoom, but preferably in person. How can we meet up, go for a hike, attend an event and see people one-on-one, because there's just a different energy trade there. And then also focus on no drama communication. How can we defuse communication, especially when it might be charged in between, partners or family members? All right, guys. I want to come back to like why we need to focus on our health as it's tied to our wealth. Remember, this is all about you finding ways to build your capacity to create more energy so you can go out into your world in a better state, a better spiritual state, emotional state, social state, and financial state. Okay. And this allows you to weather storms much more readily. I know there's been a lot of talk about inflation and recession, in the environment today, the market environment today. There's a lot of fear, a lot of nervousness. But if your capacity is high, remember we had that image of the water in the glass. If your cup of water is full and you feel very energetic, okay, you're going to be able to see the world in a very different light than if your cup is half empty or even completely empty. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. We are about to kick off our Ask Me Anything session, but before we do so, we are going to, shift gears here over the next few weeks and start diving into many tax and legal concepts that we should master as passive investors before entering our first or next passive deal. If you haven't already done so, join me at passiveinvestingwithwhitney.com. Again, we can jump on a one-on-one call and discuss your investing goals and how we can help here at passiveinvesting.com meet those goals. Until next time, guys, thank you so much.